Several months back, I had done a video on this Smith & Wesson Model 640 that I had purchased from a local gun shop in the used rack, and at the time I didn't really know what it was, but I started doing some research, and again, shortly after, I realized that this was a Jack Weigand 4PJ Executive custom made to order handgun. There's a lot of special features on these. They have a different cylinder release. There's a ball detent in the crane and also a notch cut in the frame that it clips into. They have a polished trigger face, which makes them very nice to shoot because they are double action only. They have a different barrel installed on them with the Weigand logo. This barrel is a Shylin blank barrel that is profiled at Jack Weigand's shop. It has a 1 in 18 twist and it is profiled on a CNC machine. It's 2¼ inches long versus the regular 1 7/8 that you would get on one of these snubbies. And on the top of that barrel, you have those 4 tapered hybrid ports, which keep the muzzle flip to a minimum. Now, in 1994, when this came out in a magazine, the editor of the magazine called this the Street Fighter package. And after recording my first video on this handgun, I decided to reach out to Jack Weigand. He has a website, jackweigand.com, and ironically, I emailed him at like 8:30 in the morning, and by 10:30 in the morning, I already had a response from him. So the fact that he read my email, took time to respond was great, and the fact that he actually took time to watch my video on this handgun and comment on it just blew my mind. Again, in my mind and in my first video, I called him a legend. He says he's not really a legend, but he was pretty well known in the shooting industry back in the 90s and in the early 2000s, and he does have quite a bit of accolades, not only from shooting, but also from companies that he worked for back in the day. So Jack referred me to his website and this link for what his profile is. Weigand Combat Handguns was formed in 1982 with experience that Jack had had from other businesses that he was in. He basically had worked at the Taurus Custom Shop. He had some accolades as far as the 1999 Pistol Smith of the Year. He was featured 5 times on top magazine covers. He held numerous U.S. patents pertaining to scope mounting innovation. He was the president of the American Pistol Smiths Guild in 2000, 2001, and 2002. He was the President's Award winner in 2000 and 2003 of the American Pistol Smiths Guild, and the accolades go on and on. And again, in his mind, he told me that he is not a legend in the community, but again, looking at these statistics and looking at what he's done throughout the years, he definitely has legend status in my mind. Now, I'm not going to go through all of these accolades here. You can check them out on Jack Weigand's website, but I do want to get into a little bit of information relating to this particular handgun that I have. Now, he stated that he does have his handguns on 5 different magazines over the years, and here's 2 of them, but the one that I'm really interested in is the May-June 1994 American Handgunner magazine. After my last video and finding the images on Jack's website of the magazine, I decided to go on eBay, and it took me about a week to find a copy of this. I ended up having to buy about 12 magazines. This is really the only one I wanted, but I think I paid around $35 with shipping to get all of these hands. And in my mind, it was well worth it to have the actual magazine from which my gun came from. Now, again, the editor of American Handgunner magazine at the time had told Jack that he didn't like the Centennial models, and I have here on the screen a 442, which is the all-black version of the Centennial in a featherweight configuration, and here is also the 642, which is the stainless steel or the silver finish model in the same configuration with the internal hammer. Now, again, when people think of these as being an ugly handgun, I kind of fall into that camp, and I never really took the saying that you have to have a hammerless gun to be able to carry this without it snagging when you pull it out of the holster. This is my Model 60 that I carry almost on a daily basis in an old Bianchi number 100 holster. This is a hammer-fired stainless steel gun. It's effectively the hammer-fired version of the 640, and this holster has been worn so long that the tab on the top of it is folded over the hammer. So when I draw this, the holster comes out of the way, it pushes my clothing out of the way, and I have never had the hammer spur on this gun catch on my clothing when I'm drawing it doing practice at the range. So I don't 100% buy into the fact that everybody says you have to have a hammerless revolver to carry it and not have it snag on your clothes. I've been carrying hammer-fired revolvers now for over 10 years. And again, I'm not an expert in this, but I'm just saying what's worked for me. I've drawn it and done tons of testing at the range and never had an issue. But I digress. We're not here to talk about a Model 60. We're here to talk about this Model 640. Now, again, I had asked Jack a bunch of questions that he responded to. I asked him about specifics on the customization and how many of these were made. He said when this article was published, the backlog went out over 2 years. He believes that they did around 3,500 of these guns, and all of the modifications are covered in the article in this magazine. So I apologized to him when I did my original video. I think I pronounced his last name Weigand or something like that. I pronounced it differently, and he corrected me and said it was pronounced Weigand. So if you do refer to Jack, make sure that you say his name is Weigand. I paid $5.99 for my gun. I think I got a good deal on it, and Jack responded to that. We sold complete revolvers for $849 in 1994. The modifications, if you sent in your gun, were $299, but he has seen these revolvers in excess of $2,500 today on the open market, as they are somewhat of a collector's items. He went on to tell me that he's not retired by any means, that he always has been a have fun gun guy versus a saving for retirement guy. And in the future, he wants to get back into building revolvers, but not to order like this 640 executive model, more built on what he thinks is cool, get them working to his specifications, and then resell them so that people can enjoy them. So again, in my mind, Jack Weigand really is a legend, and he's created some fantastic firearms over the years. This article is super cool and nostalgic. This whole magazine in general, going back to 1994 and looking at what people were talking about, they had some of the craziest looking counterweighted revolvers with all kinds of porting, rails machined into the bottom of them. It's just really funny going back in time, like 30 years, and looking what people thought was going to be the future of shooting versus what's actually out there today. If you get a chance to find one of these magazines and read the article, it's really good. I guess if I got enough likes on this video and if enough people reach out to me and tell me they want me to read the full article, I'd be happy to read the full article. It's probably a 10 or 15-minute read, not that intense, and it does have a lot of good information in there. The author talks about, how if he had this gun made again, he would probably make it on the lightweight Centennial model, the 442 or the 642, because he would want a lighter weight version. But in my mind, if you're trying to find something that has the least amount of muzzle flip, that can take more punishment, that can take hotter rounds, a stainless steel version is probably a better choice than a featherweight. Now, Jack graciously sent me a copy of his 1997 catalog, and right there on the top page, you can see my handgun, the 4PJ Executive Model 640 Smith & Wesson, but he also had some additional ones in there. The Ruger Red Hawk North American Hunter, again with hybrid porting and precision rings. He also did some work on Taurus revolvers and the Ruger SP101 with similar work with hybrid porting, polish jobs, trigger jobs, and such. This catalog also has a full page on his hybrid port technology and other gunsmithing services. Now, I think Cameron Hopkins, the editor of American Handgunner magazine in 1994, said it best when he said, "This is a gun I really would carry. It's that good." At any rate, I'm extremely grateful for Jack Weigand and his custom gunsmithing that he's been doing for years and that he's still doing. I can't wait to see if he releases any new guns to the market in any time soon. And again, if you get a chance, pick up one of these old magazines from the 90s. Just what they have in here is absolutely insane compared to what we have today. This is really where people thought the future technology in handgunning would be. So again, this is just a trip down memory lane and a lot of information regarding to my 4PJ Executive Special Jack Weigand Model 640 Smith & Wesson. I love the gun. I love the history behind it. So thanks again for watching. Have a great day. God bless America. Support your 2A rights. Get out there and shoot. And you remember, if someone asks you to give up some of your freedom for the greater good, remind them that freedom is the greater good.